Ruth Roberts, the original holistic pet health coach. And with me today is Chan Namgong from Oncotect. And if you are not familiar with Oncotect, it's some amazing technology that I think you really need to get to know. So what I'm going to do is let Chan sort of take it away with the presentation he's got prepared for us and kind of give us the lowdown on what this cancer test is. But basically, it's very easy, non-invasive cancer screening. So please, let's get some info out there for these folks.
Great. Well, thank you, Roberts, for having me today. Such an honor to be on this program. And again, my name is Chan Namgong. I'm the CEO founder of Oncotect, where we develop accessible and non-invasive cancer screening tests for our dogs. There are over 84 million dogs in the US alone, and the biggest threat to their health and well-being is cancer. Unfortunately, cancer affects a lot of pets. It's estimated that 1 in 3 dogs will develop cancer during their lifetime. And that's about 6 to 10 million dogs getting diagnosed with cancer every year. As any vet oncologist will tell you, the best chance of fighting cancer and extending our dogs' lives comes from early detection and diagnosis. But that just isn't a widely available option to date. Current testing methods, such as biopsies, ultrasounds, and X-rays are excellent at diagnosing cancer, but are too expensive or impractical for early screening. And blood tests require a hospital visit to perform, and any pet parent will tell you that it's not a pleasant experience for their dogs. At Oncotect, we are pioneering a game-changing solution that's not only simple, but practical for at-home use. We are introducing the world's only and first non-invasive at-home cancer screening test for dogs. By using urinalysis, we've created a process that's fast, accurate, and affordable. This breakthrough empowers pet parents to take charge of their pet's health, all from the comfort of their own homes. Pet parent can order the test at select veterinary hospitals, but also order a testing kit online. The urine collection process is quick and hassle-free, thanks to our user-friendly urine collection tools and clear instructions. Upon collecting a small urine sample, pet parents can send it to our lab, and we deliver accurate results to them within 7 business days. Our test result shows an easy-to-understand risk assessment, categorizing pets as low, moderate, or high risk. We also offer guidance for veterinarians and pet parents on the appropriate next steps. Throughout the entire process, we are dedicated and committed to keeping veterinarians informed and involved. The science behind our technology relies on these little guys. They are microscopic nematodes called C. elegans. You may have heard that dogs can detect human cancer. Well, they can do that because cancer cells produce a particular smell that's different from normal cells. And dogs can tell the difference between two. Well, we're using similar science in that these little creatures have an incredible sense of smell with even more olfactory receptors than dogs despite their small size. So much so that they can actually detect cancerous metabolites when exposed to urine that contains them. Our novel, patent-pending process is able to quantify their olfactory neuronal response with high accuracy, which enables us to accurately assess the patient's risk of cancer. Our study was published in the academic journal Frontiers in Veterinary Science in August 2022, and has received much support and validation from numerous veterinary doctors and scholars interested in this field. To date, we've tested over 550 patients, dogs of all shapes and sizes, and we've been proven to accurately detect the 4 most common treatable canine cancers at 83% sensitivity, which is true positive, and 96% specificity, which is true negative. These results compare favorably with competitive blood tests. But with no needles, our pet-friendly approach is a complete game changer. Our test is available in 2 ways. We have partnered with 40 hospitals and counting. Now we have hospitals from West Coast to East Coast. I'm happy to report that the feedback has been incredible so far, that one of our partnering vets, Dr. Wages, even quoted, Oncotect definitely changed how I practice medicine. I wish everyone else would catch on. Additionally, just like 23andMe and Cologuard, we have launched the direct-to-consumer channel, making us the first and only company offering canine cancer screening tests directly to pet parents. Our leadership and advisory team consists of general practice veterinarians, veterinary oncologists, scientists, and entrepreneurs committed to pioneering early detection of cancer in companion animals from leading research universities. There's no perfect cure for cancer, but early detection and treatment make all the difference. This is Cotton. His vet couldn't figure out what was going on with him, so she ran an Oncotect test. The result came back positive, so the vet did further diagnostic tests and found mast cell tumors. Cotton was able to get the care he needed right away, and I'm happy to say that he's living a healthy life with his family in North Carolina today. Each day we spend with our pets is a gift, and we want to help pet parents everywhere get more of them to enjoy together. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, and thank you for sharing that with us. The part of the reason I wanted to bring this product on to our store and also to talk a little bit more with it about pet parents is there's been a lot of companies out there that are doing cancer screening, but so much of it has been a lot of false positives, a lot of false negatives, and it's really hard to tell kind of what's what. But these statistics are so impressive. So with 96% true negative and an 80, thank you. Those are the statistics, just always killed me. And then an 84% sensitivity, that's really remarkable. So it's not perfect, but that is truly incredible. And the coolest thing is that it's a urine sample that you send in. So there's no going to the vet. I mean, it's super duper simple to get this done. And, that's wonderful because it's the thing that scares all of us the most is, what if my dog has cancer? And it's amazing that these organisms are able to do this. So we don't have to train fleets of beagles to roam the United States to sniff out cancer in dogs and cats, but it's just such a beautifully elegant solution. So you were mentioning sorry, please.
Pretty early on, we wanted to make sure that our tests, we pride ourselves as the most accessible, convenient, and affordable cancer screening tests. And we focused on urine samples, not blood samples, because we wanted to make it available directly for pet parents. Because, of course, we work with veterinarians, and we are going to keep them informed and involved because the veterinarians are an integral part of our process. But, we started developing this during the pandemic, and people are started taking a lot of at-home testing kits because it's convenient and you don't have to take your dog to the vet. And we all know that, you've had dogs that just don't want to go to the vet. Right. So this is a solution where you can actually collect urine at home and put in a mailbox, because every kit comes with a prepaid return label, and you just collect very small urine sample with all the tools that we've provided, put in a mailbox, and USPS come pick it up, and then we get it and we share the results.
And that's just beautiful, because that's one of the things that I'm trying to promote is things that you, the pet parent, can do at home to help move things further forward. So we've got somebody asking, what are some of the markers in the urine sample? And so this is what's really beautiful. It's what they're smelling. So the volatile organic compounds. So can you speak a little bit about that?
Sure. So it's a volatile organic compounds. And I mentioned briefly earlier that, it's been scientifically proven that dogs can detect human cancer, right? And again, that's because cancer cells produce this particular smell, VOCs, that's different from normal cells. And what we have discovered is the C. elegans, the nematodes that we use, are actually attracted to these cancerous metabolites, VOCs, that they actually migrate or they actually respond to these VOCs. And that's what we look for, and we quantify and measure the level of their attractiveness to the VOCs. And based on our extensive study, which we also published in a peer-reviewed journal, we created an index, and that shows whether the dog has a low risk of cancer or moderate or high risk of cancer.
And that's just so beautifully elegant. So you have a laboratory technician that's literally observing how these organisms behave in the urine sample, and they will move in really big numbers if there's a high risk for cancer, and then different grades, basically.
That's exactly right. And
sense?
we also actually measure the intensity of so there's a neuron that's responsible for responding to these VOCs, and we can measure the intensity, calcium activity intensity of the neuronal response. And based on that response, we can say, there's a low risk, moderate risk, or high risk of cancer.
Wow, that's crazy. So you're measuring this neuronal activity. So apologies, but good, we're back. Yes, thank you. So that's amazing. And so the cancers that you did and that you looked at in the study, I think were the 4 big ones. So hemangiosarcoma, mast cell cancers, osteosarcoma,
and melanoma.
Yeah. So the big uglies.
So, we focused on 4 most common treatable canine cancers. So again, lymphoma, melanoma, hemangiosarcoma, and mast cell tumors. And we do have plans to study other types in coming months, such as osteo, the TCC blood cancer, or prostate cancer, and soft tissue sarcoma.
That's awesome, because those are if we can get those detected early, then we have more options available to us.
That's exactly right.
Then do you have any idea how early these would actually detect cancer? Like, so some of these guys will grow months before they show up.
Exactly. So when the samples that we have studied with didn't have any stagings. So, but in human medicine, we know that they can detect as early as stage 1. So I know that so in human medicine, they've actually used C. elegans to detect cancer. And it was, they discovered they can detect as early as stage 1. The recommended age to start testing for normal breeds is 7, so senior dogs. But if you have high-risk dogs, such as boxers, golden retrievers, mountain Bernese, Irish Wolfhounds, the big, larger breeds, we recommend that starting at 5 or 6.
Right on. And it's tragic, because I've seen golden doodles and labradoodles, for instance, that I diagnosed hemangiosarcoma as early as 5 years of age. So I think that's a really awesome thing, is to maybe even for these breeds that are predisposed, maybe even at 4, because sadly we're seeing it earlier and earlier.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like cancer doesn't discriminate age. You can't infect anybody.
No.
But just
Exactly.
statistically, older people, older dogs will get cancer more often than not. But it does affect younger dogs, and I've seen dogs with 2-year-old dogs that get cancer. So it's really up to how proactive you want to be, right? So and that's why the affordability is really important, so that you can do it as a part of your senior wellness check, and you can be proactive and never put your dog behind the 8 ball.
Exactly. And a lot of part of the reason people will delay going to the vet if they're concerned that their dog has cancer is because they just don't even want to deal with it and the possibility of having to get chemotherapy or radiation. And so they think there's nothing else that can do. But I think where this ties in beautifully to holistic medicine is if you know that there's a high likelihood of something going on and your dog has showed you symptoms, then some of the treatment or support protocols we would offer, or the holistic pet health coaches would offer, are not like, we're only doing this for mast cell cancer and we're only doing this for hemangiosarcoma. They're more generally supportive. And so if chemotherapy and radiation is not where you want to go, then this is something you could do. And if it makes sense and your dog is showing you, I probably got cancer, Mom, I need some help, then this is where holistic approaches could be started in a more generic way until things are clear. And if you've got, it sounds, so these are folks, I think you've got some great buy-in here, because these are all people that I know who have had this experience of cancer with their pets. I know Angela went through a really horrible situation. So, if you test every 6 months, then you're going to catch it before things get worse. Have you seen veterinarians implement it?
Our recommendation is, if they're healthy and they don't have any issues, and once you take the first test and they're low risk, probably normal breeds would be, every 12 months would be fine. But again, it doesn't stop you from doing it every 6 months. High risk dogs or really older dogs, we recommend it for every 6 months. And just to be more proactive. And, I think you said something earlier that the reason cancer is the leading cause of death in dogs is many times because of late diagnosis. And I've spoken to so many pet parents that they say, man, I wish I had your product, for my last dog. And so many people have lost their dog to cancer tragically and suddenly, that they just didn't have any time to study any treatment options or even have any mentally or emotionally prepare for it. Right. So this is the way you can be more proactive, and you have time, whether it's a conventional or holistic treatment, and, to really improve the quality of your dog's life. Let's say, and if you choose not to treat, right, because some people just don't want to put their dogs through chemotherapy, and, the cancer treatments can be very expensive. But this is a way for you to have an opportunity to provide palatable care or a better quality of life through nutrition, better nutrition, nutritious foods, or other holistic medicine.
Right on. And we've got some folks asking, what does this cost? And here is the product on our website. The cost $199. And I think if Hannah's got my back or Isa's got my back, she will pop in a discount code. We've decided to carry this product in our store because I think it's going to give pet parents so many options. Like, I'm really worried about this, but I don't even want to talk to the vet yet about it. And then I think you had mentioned too that Dr. Wages, maybe I'm misremembering it, was using it to kind of screen for pets that had cancer, that had a possibility of recurrence. So that's right. Another fantastic option too.
In many cases, one is, you can use it as a monitoring tool after, you successfully remove, mast cell tumor or melanoma or lymph nodes. You can also, doctors have used it as to check whether the mass they found is benign or malignant. There's been cases where they've run traditional urinalysis, traditional blood panels, couldn't find anything wrong, but they just had a feeling that something was not right. So they've used our tests before they you go into more expensive or invasive diagnostic tests. This is a good way to hey, let's do this first before we go down a more serious path.
And that's amazing, because that was one of the things I hated most in clinical practice was, doing an ultrasound and seeing something in the liver and really not being able to know, is this benign or malignant? And so our options were to do nothing and wait, or to be very invasive. Yeah, and do a biopsy and open up the abdomen. So that's just not fun. And Angela's asking about bladder cancer, and I think that's one of the things that you're currently studying. Is that, am I wrong? Or
You're correct. So we've tested we've detected bladder cancer before, but we just haven't run a large enough sample size and do an extensive study to actually have to make a claim that we can detect bladder cancer. So that's one of the cancer types we are going to study next year.
That's awesome. So, and that's the thing. I mean, the principle is and maybe I'm oversimplifying this, but the volatile or organic compounds, I'm sure that they vary to some degree between the different types of cancer, but it's still the same concept
There's some consistent
all cancer.
There's consistent VOCs that are across the cancer cells.
That's just, I mean, this is just such a brilliant, brilliant test, and how much relief it could bring to people just knowing, hey, probably we're in good shape, or no, we really need to go further forward.
And you're exactly right. And that's actually one of the reasons why many pet parents have chosen to use our test, is really to get peace of mind. Because let's say they have high-risk breeds, or they've lost their previous dog to cancer, it's a lingering concern in their mind. But you can do this test and say, if it comes back low, which most cases, and they have that peace of mind, like, oh, my dog is healthy, like, I'm good,
Right on. Because I mean, for instance, one of our coaches, Karen Druckenmiller, she loves pit bulls, but unfortunately she's had several dogs with mast cell tumors, and she'll get them removed, treat them appropriately, and then she's forced to wait until something physically pops back up to know that she needs to do something else. So I think this is just so astonishing. So for those of you out there, we've got the link in the comments here, but if you just click on that link, it will give you a 10% discount on the test itself. I think this is something that is going to really, really radically change how we think about cancer and how we can begin to approach it. So truly, we can start kind of we're at a very low grade. So we're not taking x-rays of dogs, and this used to be heartbreaking for me, to take an x-ray of a dog who's having trouble breathing and the chest is just full of cancer nodules. Mm-hmm. And it's astonishing to me how much these guys deal with things until they just physically can't anymore. So, Chan, I'm so delighted that you were able to come on and share this information with folks. I think it is really going to be groundbreaking and level up our ability to guide our pets' care going forward. So thanks again so much. Thanks you all for jumping on with us, and we will keep this information in a spot where it's easy to get to, but we'll be including this test in part of our cancer protocols so that you understand you have the ability to know, am I doing good? Are we making progress? Are we losing ground? Where are we? And then that way you can adapt what you're doing for your pets. So great to see you all. We'll see you soon. And John, again, thanks so much for jumping on with us. So hang tight with me for a few minutes.